this is Opinion Radar, and welcome back to my channel. If you're into fashion that's bold, a little flirty, and full of vintage charm, you're going to want to keep watching. Today, I'm diving into one of the most talked about hosiery pieces in the retro fashion world, the Leg Avenue Vintage Fishnet Lace Tights. Priced at just $18, these tights promise to bring the old school glamour into your modern wardrobe. And let me tell you, they've been making the rounds on my Instagram feed for months. From boudoir shoots to street-style edits, people are styling them in the coolest ways. I was curious, do they actually live up to the hype? Are they worth adding to your collection? Or just another trendy piece that looks good in photos but fails in real life? I've put them to the test in everyday situations, from casual outings to a full night out. And I'm sharing all the honest details, good and bad. Let's see if these lace trim fishnets are a must-have or just a flash in the pan. Okay, so I'll be real with you. I've never been a huge fan of wearing tights. Most of the time, they either pinch, roll down, or end up with a run before I've even left the house. But when I came across the Leg Avenue Vintage Fishnet Lace Tights, I was instantly drawn in by how cute they looked. That classic fishnet pattern with delicate lace detailing? Yes, please. I love anything with a retro, vintage-inspired vibe, and these totally deliver on that aesthetic. I got the one-size version, and as someone who's about 5 feet 5 inches, I was a little nervous about the fit, especially since I've heard mixed things about one-size-fits-most claims. But honestly, the moment I slipped them on, I was pleasantly surprised by how much I liked the look. The lace bands that mimic garter belts stay put on the legs, and they actually add such a fun, fashionable touch. They give off major pin-up glamour, and I immediately knew I was going to wear them with almost everything in my closet. One of the first things I noticed was the material. It's not your typical sheer, ultra-thin pantyhose. These feel more like a soft, knitted mesh fabric, which honestly I kind of love. It gives them a bit more structure and body, so they don't feel flimsy or like they're going to shred the second I sneeze. They're definitely not super stretchy like some other tights I've worn, but that also means they hold their shape really well. I wore them out for a night with a short dress and boots, and I didn't have to keep adjusting them every 5 minutes, which is a huge win in my book. I've had other fishnets that slide down or get twisted, but these stayed in place pretty much the whole night. I did wear a slip underneath just to help keep everything smooth, but even without it, I didn't feel like they were rolling or bunching up. For anyone who's petite or curvy, I'd say sizing might be a little hit or miss. There's a tiny bit of extra fabric at the waist for me, but nothing too noticeable under a longer top. Now let's talk styling because these are so easy to dress up or down. I first wore them for a date night with a simple black mini dress and thigh-high boots, and I got so many compliments. They add just enough edge without being over the top, and they really elevate a basic outfit. I've also paired them with skirts, oversized sweaters, and even over black leggings for a layered winter look. Totally on trend and surprisingly warm. They're way more versatile than I expected. I've seen people rock these for cosplay, like as Misa Main from Death Note, and honestly, I get it. The vintage vibe is perfect for themed events, Halloween, or even a retro-themed party. But you don't need a special occasion to wear them. I threw them on with jeans and a crop top just to run errands, and I felt instantly more put together. Sometimes it's the little things that make you feel confident, and these definitely do that for me. Of course, no product is perfect, and I do have a few little gripes. While I personally didn't have any issues with durability, I'll admit they are a bit delicate. You've got to be careful getting them on. No sharp nails or rings, that's for sure. They are prone to snagging if you're not gentle. But let's be real, isn't that true for pretty much all fishnets? I didn't see any holes right out of the package, but I've definitely had cheaper pairs that came already damaged. These seemed well made in comparison. As for the fit, I can totally see how the one size could be a bit tricky for shorter folks. If you're under 5 feet 4 inches, there might be some bunching around the waist, but the leg pattern still looks great. I've heard taller girls rave about how well they fit, and after reading a few experiences in my head, I get why. The length is spot on if you've got longer legs, but I think they still look cute even if they're a tad loose. Comfort-wise, These are a big improvement over traditional pantyhose. They're breathable, not itchy, and they don't feel tight or restrictive around the thighs. A serious win for someone like me who's got thicker legs. So many fishnets are either too tight or saga, but these found a sweet spot. I wore them all day at a friend's wedding. I know, not the obvious choice, but I wanted to make a statement. And I completely forgot I was even wearing them. That's how comfortable they were. No tugging, no rolling, no discomfort in the waistband. And I was dancing all night. I even went to the bathroom without having to completely take them off. A miracle, honestly. They're way easier to get on and off than most hosiery, especially for material with this much detail. One thing I really appreciate is how these don't feel like costume pieces. They're actually wearable in real life. For $18, I think they're a solid value. You're not just paying for the look, you're getting something that's fairly durable and comfortable enough to wear more than once. I've already worn mine 3 times, and they're still in great shape. I do think like Avenue nailed the design. It's trendy but timeless, flirty but not over the top. The lace detailing is evenly spaced, and the fishnet pattern is consistent throughout. They add that little bit of something extra to any outfit without trying too hard. That said, if you're someone who's very petite or who needs a super precise fit, you might want to size down or consider wearing them with a petticoat or shorts underneath to help keep them up. I've had days where I felt like they needed a little extra support, especially if I'm being super active. But overall, I'm really happy with my purchase. They've quickly become one of my go-to statement pieces. Whether I'm dressing up or just want to feel a little more confident on a regular Tuesday, these tights just work. I'd definitely buy them again, maybe even in a second color if they made them. If you're on the fence, I'd say give them a try. They're fun, flirty, and full of personality, kind of like the perfect accessory should be. If these leg Avenue tights can make me fall in love with hosiery, they can do it for you too. Don't let your style get caught in a snag. Hit that like button and subscribe for more bold, flirty finds. Let's spice up your wardrobe together, one vintage vibe at a time.